Right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm reading for today, I'm picking up your energy as well as someone else's. There's some type of really meaningful connection here that your spirit guides want to weigh in on. So that's what this reading is going to be about. Now, before I dive into the reading, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I love to do them, and you can request a personal reading from me at my website, ajstarot.com, which is also down below in the description box. And if this reading resonates with you, please take a moment to like and subscribe, as that helps me out a lot, and it only takes you a couple of seconds. So, Sagittarius. Like I said, there's a connection here that really needs some healing energy. And your overall energy for the reading is justice, which is about finding balance, fairness, and truth. And so, with the moon card here as well, it looks like there is something that's not being said or not being shared. And it's also a feeling of, are we going to find balance? With the moon, the Eight of Wands, and the Two of Pentacles, that's an energy of uncertainty. Are we going to balance out? Are we going to find harmony? Are we going to be able to patch this up, really? And I see that both of you are asking this. And you may go back and forth thinking, yes, we can, no, we can't, something like that. It's a tricky situation. In the recent past, we have the Hermit, the Seven of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. So it's like there was some type of blockage to healing this. Maybe someone wanted to make an effort with the Page of Pentacles, but with the Seven of Wands, that's a pretty firm blockage energy, a pretty firm no energy. Now, the goal, the intention is good with the Hermit to heal, to reconcile, either individually or together, and to just make this right, sort of. But I see that that maybe wasn't really accomplished with that Seven of Wands. So let's take a look at this energy. In your oracle cards, you have guilt, friendliness, and silence. So someone here, might be you, might be the other person, had a chance to speak up and connect with friendliness, but did not. Silence. They held their silence. And there could be a lot of regret or guilt around that. Someone wishing that they'd spoken up when they had the chance. This could be you. It could be the other person. You can definitely switch roles as it applies. Let's take a look at the recent past here. And let's look at the Hermit, the Five of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles. So there was this feeling of, it's been a struggle for a long time. And also this feeling of, I don't want it to be a struggle anymore. I want us to go from the 5 to the 10. I want it to feel better. I want it to get better. But for a while, maybe there was like, not just struggle, but in the connection itself, a feeling of, this is only ever feeling bad. You ever get together with someone and it just doesn't feel good? And it's not even that one or the other is doing anything necessarily bad, but there's something about the combination of energies where maybe you start to sort of drown in the bad feeling, the suffering. And someone here might have also had a bit of a lack mindset or paid attention to sort of the negative, kind of buying into the worst case scenario rather than seeing the abundance, the Ten of Pentacles. Let's take a look at the Seven of Wands, the Chariot, the Star, the Queen of Pentacles. The energy is there for healing, for reconciliation, for things to move forward and to reach a point of stability. But for some reason, there's a major blockage to that, and it never really got beyond that Page of Pentacles, the intention. So even if one or both of you kind of wanted to move this forward and work on it and heal it and get it to a better place, there were some major blockages to doing that. And we're going to talk about that later in the reading because I see both people's energies here. But let's take a look at that Page of Pentacles, the Empress, Death, the Fool. Someone sort of denied what they needed or some self-love. There was this feeling of, you know, fuck it. I don't need to do what's best for me. I don't need to do what's best for the other person. At some point, the positive energy just kind of disappeared completely, but you kept going. I was like, we're just going to steamroll right on through this. You know, even if it doesn't always feel good, which is not great. And I see there being regret here in hindsight with the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Like, well, why the heck did we do that? You know, what was the point of that? What was that supposed to accomplish? Now we have two energies here. We have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. And I'm not sure which one you're going to be. So I'm just going to describe both energies and you can relate to it as you will. For the King of Cups, we have the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Let's take a look at this King of Cups. The Devil, the King of Wands, the Five of Cups. So this person really regrets some type of toxic behavior that they participated in. Maybe they lied. Maybe they cheated. Maybe they stole. Maybe it was a pattern of fear. Maybe this person was just afraid to speak up. Maybe this is the person who is afraid to speak up about what they needed. They are coming across as a masculine energy. Doesn't necessarily have to be a man, but at least in this dynamic takes on the masculine role. And I'm seeing that this person is very upset with the Four of Cups at the bottom of the deck. There's this feeling of being really ashamed, feeling really guilty, feeling like, why didn't I do things differently? Let's look at the Devil for what happened here. The Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, the Star. They're saying I didn't act when I could have acted. So this could be the person who felt like they needed to speak up more. This person just didn't do that. There was something that they wanted, maybe, you know, making a connection, going towards the other person, and they just didn't do that. And it doesn't actually look like the worst thing in the world. It looks like just maybe a regret this person has, but whatever it was, they see it as changing the trajectory of how this went. Let's look at the Ten of Wands. For the Ten of Wands, we have the Page of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and we have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So they're showing me that they had some ideas, they had some feelings, they had some desires, but instead of maturing those into a plan and then taking action, that's where they stayed, in the internal place of, should I do this? Should I do that? Do I really want to do this? Or do I really want to do that? And it never really got to the next stage, and it ultimately became really confusing for them because they never made a plan and they never took action with the Seven of Cups. So it stayed really hazy. It stayed there as sort of an idea, but not really something that they could take action on. And now they look to be really kicking themselves over this, being like, well, why didn't I just do what I knew I needed to do? And then we have the Eight of Swords. For the Eight of Swords, we have the Page of Swords, the Magician, the Eight of Wands. And now they're kind of stuck being like, well, now what? What's going to happen next? What do I need to do to make what I want to happen next? Are they going to come towards me? Am I going to go towards them? And just like before, they sort of stay rooted in one spot rather than really moving forward and making some progress here. Now, I do see that they really care about whoever else is involved. The Lovers at the bottom of the deck, that's a very important connection. But with the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck, as I'm shuffling, and the Tower, it's like they just stay in place. They're not taking action, and they're not making the change that needs to be made to kind of balance things out here. Now let's look at the other energy here. We have the Queen of Cups. So this is going to be the more feminine energy. Again, doesn't need to be the woman, a woman, but just someone who in this relationship dynamic comes through as feminine. Let's take a look at the Queen here. For the Queen of Cups, we have the High Priestess, the Three of Cups, the Ace of Swords. So this person sort of knows through their intuition that they want to connect as well, but this person also doesn't actually take action towards doing that. High Priestess, they kind of stay quiet. Even if they hang out with you or they're in your energy, this person, the Queen of Cups, doesn't really speak up, doesn't really take action. Let's take a look at the Devil and the Queen of Cups energy. Both of these people have a lot of fear of just kind of going for it and just doing what they want to do. You might hear April the cat meowing. Let's take a look at the Devil, the Sun, the Nine of Wands, the Four of Wands. So this person is kind of scared to get outside of their comfort zone. They feel comfortable when they know exactly what's going to happen, when there's clarity, and they know that there's going to be success. Hi, April. Hi. Oh my goodness. So this person is kind of scared to get out of that comfort zone and really just go for it with the Four of Wands. Four of Wands can represent the comfort zone and stability, but it can also represent a relationship. And this person is kind of afraid to go for what makes them happy, even though it seems to be what they really want. And so both people kind of stay hanging back. Then we also have the Eight of Pentacles, the Tower, the Ace of Cups, the Six of Swords. So then our Queen of Cups here is just like, well, I'm just going to move on. If nothing's going to happen, if nothing's going to change, I'm just going to move on. But again, the desire is here with the Ace of Cups for that love energy, for sharing. And so both people kind of remain in limbo. And so I don't know which one you are. If you're listening to this, you might identify more with the King of Cups or the Queen of Cups. But either way, both of you are having feelings here about connecting. And if one of you would just speak up, maybe this would go somewhere. Your advice from the universe, we have the World, the Ace of Wands, the Nine of Swords. This is very straightforward advice from Spirit. Spirit saying, if you can stop the cycle of getting triggered and panicking, or just panicking and being anxious in general, there might be things that happen that are really upsetting to you, and you're just kind of spiral. And Spirit's asking you to put a stop to that so that you can find equilibrium. And then it'll become clear the path forward. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and I'll see you next time.